Hello there, guys. Are your computer slow, or not working at all, or just feel sluggy, or it just feel like it doesn't perform like it used to? Well, today's your lucky day because I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks to help your computer feel a bit better. So that's why I'm recording my screen here, and my little face down the corner will not be bigger for now. But anyway, I believe the best tool for solving and also just discover computer problems is the task manager. Something so simple as a task manager, but if you dig deep enough, you can actually do a lot of things with that. And again, it's the first thing you should look at if you don't know what the problem is already and you're gonna figure out what it's all about. So to launch the task manager, you can do like this: press Control Shift Escape, and Escape will remove it again. If you're too stupid to do that, then or there's other reason you can press these three buttons at once. You can also right click on the taskbar, and there's one called Task Manager here. I believe that doesn't exist in Windows 11, and if you haven't discovered it already, I'm on Windows 10 because it's still the most used operating system out there, and also it just happened to be the one installed on this computer. So here you can see the programs or apps, as I call them, that are running right now. So 5 apps, that is normally what you will see here. I'm using a secondary desktop, so here you can only see Ops and Task Manager, which are here. I have these open on my other desktop, so normally you'll be able to see them all here. You have background processes, there are a lot of them. Here you can see pretty much all of the important components that make up your computer and make it able to do what it can do. The most used, in my experience at least, is the memory, which can quite easily fill up on some computers. Right now I'm at roughly 50%, which is actually quite a lot, but that's because I have so many tabs open right now and a lot of background processes from other apps where I will not necessarily need to use all of them, but I just have a lot of RAM, so I just have them going anyway. So it could be quite a lot smaller, and it will normally be. Uh, However, if this is at 100%, it could be because you just have too little RAM to actually run Windows 10 or 11 or whatever. If you have less than 4 gigabyte, it will most probably be at 100% all the time because you will actually have too little RAM to just have the computer turned on under normal circumstances. If you have 4 gigabytes, you will probably have it quite close to 100, and it will probably jump to 100 in any circumstance where you're actually doing some stuff. Uh, Maybe even if you just use the browser, you will be able to jump to 100. Else, it will be quite close just by using the browser, so you can only do like one thing at a time. Nowadays, with 4 gigabyte, it's when you're running Windows 10. If you run Windows XP, it's like more than you will ever use. If you have like 8 gigabyte installed, you will be able to run multiple programs at once, and only if you want some heavy programs as certain games and Photoshop video editing tools, it can jump to 100 quite fast still. If you, like me, have 16 gigabyte installed, you will most probably never see touch 100. And if it do, it will only be for a short period of time, unless you are exporting a video in a video editor and give it access to the just use whatever it need or run a simulation or something. You can push it to use 16 gigabyte or just 100% in any circumstance if you really want to. But then you have done it yourself in the settings, and you will probably know that you will be using your computer's full power. So if you go to Task Manager and it's at 100% and you don't know anything that's running, then that's probably a problem. It could be a virus. It could also just be that you haven't recognized you have something running in the background that actually use all of that. But again, there should not be anything in the actual background. It should be like here, but on another desktop, or you have forgot to have started exporting a video. Something that makes sense. It should not be 100 else. Just like that. The CPU is a bit harder because it's normally at like 1 to 5%, and it will only jump in a few seconds at a time. So if this just stays at 100%, then you will most probably have a problem. There could be some circumstances where it will be like 100% for a few seconds, but it should not be that long time. So that will be quite easy to see if there's a problem there. Disk is also one that will normally be at 0 or 1%, but it can jump to 100% quite easily. Almost every time you actually use it, it will do that, but only for a few seconds at a time when you are saving something or whatever. But if you are transferring big files from one folder to another, or from an external device to the computer, uploading or downloading or installing a program, it will most probably be at 100% until the task is finished. So if you it's no. The computer feels slow in the meantime, it's quite normal, and you see disk running at 100%, and then you see, oh, I'm also doing something with disk, then it'll probably be just fine. Network and GPU are normally the problem. I will not go further into that today. But memory is the easiest one to figure out. These can be a bit harder to understand if it's good or not, or if it makes sense or not. But if we say you have memory at 100%, then you can click on that, and then it changes up. So now it's showing the thing use the most amount of memory at the top, and that is, as I was expecting, my Edge browser, because I have a lot of tabs open. So that makes kind of sense. Upstudio because I'm recording, more Edge. Now it's the individual tabs, because the reason why I use so much is because I have some individual tabs that use a lot of RAM. That's like YouTube and things with pictures, and I have some anti-malware and my Windows Explorer. It looks normal, like a couple hundred megabytes, and then everything under that is pretty much nothing. So that's not to worry about. If there's something here you don't recognize, it could be a virus, but there's not right now. It could be something with a string's name, or something with not even a name but just a bunch of letters scrambled around. Something that looks strange. Like this one, you know, because that's your browser looks the same. The programs you're using. This one, you have probably not seen that before, but I can tell you this is normal. Windows Explorer, you maybe don't know the name, but you know it's something with the folders. For the most part, quite easy to recognize most of the stuff. So if you see something you don't recognize, it could certainly be a virus. You can do the same thing with CPU. Upstudio is using the most CPU power. Makes sense, it's recording. Disk. Upstudio because it's saving, so it's actually the only thing using the disk right now. That makes sense. And to see some strange thing using the disk, and it's like the same program all the time. Like right now, Upstudio is the heavy lifter all the time actually. If you see a strange thing, you don't know, like not a program you have open, but something that doesn't make sense using a disk heavily for a longer period of time, and it just continues doing that, then it could be a virus. You also have this one called system. That's actually a quite normal thing that every computer has, but it can be, I'm not calling a source, but it can be a part of a problem quite often. Quite often, something like system will lose a lot of disk or CPU or even memory sometimes. They can actually lose all of them, I think. And it should actually never lose a lot. So when this happens, it can also be a virus, but a virus that have digged deeper into the system and affected the actual system resources. And that can be quite bad and quite hard to figure out what is going on. You can actually right click on it and look a bit at more details about it. You can see when you got it, if you got it the same day as you download something illegal on the internet, it could most certainly be a virus. You can also go to file location. It wouldn't always work, but sometimes it works to go to file location and then it will highlight the thing that was running, and then you can just delete it. And that could be a way to delete the virus. So actually you can kind of solve the problems with Task Manager because it can be your gateway to actually deleting the virus. Sometimes though, you wouldn't be able to select this for some reason. Then you can go to details and you will see the name of the file. Quite easy in this time. Then you can go and search for that, and then you can often find it this way. And here you can see how important it is to actually search the right thing. The searches are, as usual, very fast. Quite hard to find this. Like it works. So it's often a far bit higher in the source of the problem, but with normally you can. So that's generally how to find viruses with the task manager, but there's also the sheer resources of the computer, which are all the time as important as it can be. For instance, there's stuff that don't really use anything, but still you can look through and you can optimize the computer to the fullest. Like I don't need the calculator, but now, so you can remove that. Hyper-V is the virtualization software you get when you have Windows 10 Pro. I think I will be using that today. Maybe you will go silent for today so you can remove that. The good thing about things you remove here is that the computer has been turned off and turned on again, or when you restart it will go back to normal. This is just some office shit I'm not gonna use. OneDrive is also one where if you were in the background task, it will not upload to the internet, but again, it will upload the next time I turn on the computer anyway. So don't need that right now. This is for printing. Spooler is for printing. I don't need to print. I actually never do. So I will use when I open it myself. Start and search are strings because sometimes it actually fixes the search and delete it or end the process because it opened by itself again. So then it fixes itself. And right now the search are pretty much not functioning as you saw, so it will be a good idea to turn it off and see what happens. As you can see, these come back again. Sometimes they come back immediately, sometimes they come back and you don't need to use them. In this case, it comes back immediately. For some reason, they continue to do that. That's not normal actually. But again, it doesn't matter. It's stuff you will use often, but stuff where it doesn't really break anything if you enter it. And yeah, generally there's a lot of things you can turn off. This one I actually don't use that app right now, so move that. Don't think I'm done with stuff today, so I'll move that thing. So sometimes you can get a lot of memory back if you do that, and sometimes doesn't really make a difference. Actually, it was at 49 when we started, so I actually have added 1%. Or maybe it was not me, but it has, because something has been using more RAM than it did earlier. So the RAM I have made free has actually been less of a difference than the actual things of the background resources on my computer. So it did really make a difference what I did. It's technically optimizing computer tools, and on some computers there can be a lot of shit going on here that you need to clean up yourself. And on my computer, where I does it often and don't have any viruses or anything stupid going on or shit in the background, it's not really a thing that makes too much of a difference. But that's pretty much what is going on with Task Manager, and what small few tricks you can maybe use to your advantage. Here you can see some more details about how much RAM you have and how many slots you're using and the frequency of the RAM. You have where is it? Here it says the total amount of physical RAM. And here it says how much actually able to be used. That's a bit less because you can see I have some hardware. Here you can see how much isn't used and how much is available. And this is with the virtual RAM and the cards and other things. Pretty much everything about the RAM you can see here. This usage is also very complicated. You have Wi-Fi also, where you can even see your IP addresses, and with Wi-Fi network you are using the name and speed of signal strength, and when you use it in few sequences, and that you can even see the speed. You can see the CPU. Yeah, again, pretty much everything about that information details. Pretty much more than you will ever need, most probably. There are some more app history here. There are the apps that start up. You can see some of them are disabled and others are enabled. So others will start up every time I start the computer, and some will not. And I don't want this one or this one. So then you can right click and disable. You can also click them and click on this, enable if it's disabled and disable if it's enabled. So you can see the changes. But that's a very long way. So if you can right click, if your right click button isn't broken, you should do that instead. For sure, I will say that. So again, this is Task Manager. Big quick guide. Most important things about that and how you can use it. Some tips and tricks about how to use that, and tips and tricks about how to fix your problems. So Task Manager 101, first lesson on Task Manager. And if you like that, then remember to like this video and subscribe for more videos about that. I have a deeper dive into Task Manager coming up and other ways to remove viruses. But until then, I guess I will see you next one.